In today's video, I am going to explain anatomical relationship among shoulder girdle, cervical spines, and occiput. I focus on these areas to solve like a stiff shoulder area, scapula, neck area, and head restrictions such as headache and after head trauma. Personally, I focus on this area, shoulder girdle, as base of building. So this is shoulder girdle. Shoulder girdle as base of building. Okay, then above base of building there is like a pillar. It's a cervical spines. Then above pillar there is roof, that's head. So this is my personal way to view these areas: shoulder girdle, base, pillar, cervical spines, and head is as roof. Thus muscles around these structures must be very important, such as shoulder girdle muscles, neck muscles, and fascia around head. Let's get started from what kind of muscles around shoulder girdle. Alright, let's get started from famous one. This is a famous one. This is trapezius. Trapezius attaches to scapula. This is insertion. What about origin? Origin is very broad, that attaches to occiput, cervical spines, and all the way down to T12. This is end of thoracic spines. Oh my gosh. Trapezius attaches to scapula, then it goes to occiput, cervical spines, and thoracic spines. As I said, I see scapula as base of neck and head. What if trapezius gets tight? That may aggravate movement of scapula plus movement of spines and head. What if your base is aggravated? What's gonna happen for above base? What's gonna happen for cervical spines and neck? They might be aggravated because your base is tight. Base is aggravated. Okay? Then there's of course another muscle like trapezius. Let's see this one. This is levator scapula. This muscle attaches to scapula, then cervical spine 1 through 4. It's like trapezius. Trapezius attaches to scapula and axial skeleton. Axial skeleton means cervical spines to lumbar spines, right? Levator scapula also attaches to cervical spines and scapula. What if this area gets tight? It diminishes movement of scapula and movement of cervical spines. See, this area very important. Let me list one more muscle. That's here. This is rhomboid. Rhomboid also connects scapula and spines. What if this area gets tight? Scapula doesn't move, plus spines don't move. That is why muscles around shoulder girdle, muscles that connect scapula and axial skeleton, are very important to analyze, very important to treat cervical spines and occiput, head. Why is that? Because I see this is base of neck and head. Now you see why, right? Alright, this is muscles around shoulder girdle. How about neck muscles? Is neck muscle related to today's theory? Of course, yes. Let's pick up this one. This is splenius capitis. Splenius capitis connects cervical spines and occiput. And there's also splenius cervicis. This muscle connects cervical spines and cervical spines. What if they get tight? Cervical spines don't move. What if cervical spines don't move? Maybe your head doesn't move. Do you start getting this theory? If base is tight, the structure above the base doesn't move. It's like building. If your base is aggravated, the whole building is aggravated, right? Then other neck muscles are also related, such as erector spinae. What else? Multifidus. and maybe suboccipital muscles are related. Suboccipital. See, this is neck relationship. Then, at last, your head is aggravated. If your base doesn't work, your building doesn't work, then your roof doesn't work. Usually, when people complain about neck pain, headache, then most of people focus on head and neck. Of course, that is an important thing. If somebody has whiplash around head and neck, of course, go focus for the related area. Then, additionally, in addition to looking on occiput and neck, why don't you focus on shoulder girdle? Muscles around shoulder girdle also attached to head and neck. Then, you see new idea to build up your clinical experience, maybe for self-care treatment, maybe for exercise. Today's theory is just one aspect to see anatomy, just one aspect to see the body connection. I don't say this is the always 100% correct theory. Of course, there are various ways to analyze human body. This is just one of them. Please note that. Anyhow, I explained muscles around shoulder girdle, neck. Then let me explain one more aspect that is kind of inside and outside. Muscles of body are kind of outside of body, right? It's outside of occiput, it's outside of spines, right? Then what do I mean inside? I want to focus on connective tissue. There's very important membrane inside of head and inside of spines. That is dura mater. Oh my gosh, I love dura mater because tightness of dura mater affects for whole body, literally whole body. This inside membranous connection is my favorite. If somebody has had car accident, if somebody has had whiplash, if somebody has sports trauma, head trauma, martial arts trauma, this membrane can get tight very easily. Let's say if you have trauma here and you have tight dura mater here, of course there's membranous connection to cervical spines and rest part of head. Then the membrane, tension of membrane can be pulled for traumatized area, in this case here, right? Membrane can be pulled for this area. Then what's gonna happen? Maybe there is pain, maybe there is restriction, maybe there is muscle tightness. Why is that? Because when inside gets tight, maybe your head doesn't work, maybe your neck doesn't work, then what's gonna happen for rest of muscles? When you don't move cervical spines, muscles around cervical spines don't move because you just don't want to move, because when you move there can be pain, you are afraid to move. Then basically when muscle don't move, they tend to get tight. Let's say if you sleep 12 hours, 13 hours in a day, when you woke up your muscles are tight, your cervical spines are tight, right? It's like that. Because of accident, because of trauma, then if you don't move necks, if you don't move shoulders, then muscles around joints don't move. In result, they get tight. So this is like how I see inside and outside relationship. If inside doesn't move, outside of course doesn't move. You can say this theory for various parts. It's like internal organs. There is internal organ inside of thorax, such as lung, such as heart, right? If inside fascia, inside myofascia gets tight, maybe outside myofascia, outside muscle can get tight. You can say same thing for abdomen. You can say same thing for pelvis. I think this is inside-outside relationship is very important to analyze pain, important to analyze joint function, and so many things. Anyway, in today's video, I explained my way, my personal way to analyze shoulder, neck, and head. Basically, shoulder girdle is base for neck and head. Above shoulder girdle, there's pillar, cervical spines, and above pillar, there is head. At last, I explained inside-outside relationship. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. See you next video.